Hi everyone, welcome to the session. Let's check what is error handling in JavaScript and how do we do this. So whenever you run your program and let's say if there is any sort of error that has happened in the program, the of course JavaScript is going to show you some standard errors. And these errors could be because of any reason, right? Maybe the syntax is not correct or maybe there is some reference issue, right? For example, if there is something that has not been declared but you're still trying to call it or use it, right? So in certain situations, right, where whenever there is something wrong with the syntax or reference or it could be any other reason, but let's say if an error has occurred, so in those kind of situations JavaScript is going to throw some standard message for the error. So let's say if you don't want to show the standard message but you rather want to cache the error and show a very specific user friendly message, or maybe if you want to show the specific type, like exact type of the error which has occurred, right? If you want to show a message related to that specific type, so even in that case you can use try catch block to cache the error and show the message the way you want it. All right, so the syntax is this: we are going to write the logic inside the try block, and then inside the catch block we are going to cache the error and then print the message the way we want it to. Let's just go ahead and try this out with an example. So let me first declare a variable, let's say let result, and I'll just assign a value, let's say 5. Okay, now if I'm trying to log a value and let's say I'm trying to log res, right, I'm not giving the full name, and if I just save this, you see there is an error and the error says res is not defined, right? But then there is a lot of things here, right? And if you just want to print the error, what you can do is you can move this code under try block. So let's just write the try and catch block. So under catch block we are going to of course receive the error, right? And then we'll move this code in the try block, and then in the error you can just print error dot message. Okay, so log error dot message, and if I save this you can see that I'm getting the error now, right? So let's say in some cases when you know exactly what kind of error is occurring, right, so in that case you can mention the type of error as well, right? So let's say for example, let's say if I'm trying to call a function, let me just comment this out, and let's say if I'm trying to call a function, let's say function let me type something else, display number, some sort of function, right, that I'm trying to call, but this function does not exist, right? I have not written this function anywhere, so I know that this is going to give me the reference error, right? So in this case I already know this can cause reference error, so I can catch that specific reference error over here. So see, it says, right, display num is not defined. So here what I'll do is inside this I'll put a condition. So if error and then instance of, let's say the one that I already know that might occur, reference error. So if that is the case, I want to print something, and in else condition I want to print something else, right? So let's just take this and I'll paste it here, and because I know that I want to, like, that my code can have reference errors, right? So I will just keep a block for the reference error. All right, so here I'm going to just type in something like this, right? You can choose any message, like any sensible message that you want. I'm just going to give it like this, and then here I'll just display the error message. So if I save this, you see, so similarly, right, so let's say whenever you have written a piece of code, so depending on what kind of error has occurred, this code, this catch block, when this catch block will run, it is going to identify as in it will, the moment it will match with the condition that you have written for a specific error, it is going to show that particular message. Okay, otherwise it is just going to show the standard message that it always throws. And there's also something called finally block. Okay, so let's say if I'll type finally, and then you don't have to add parentheses. Okay, you just need to type, because it's a block, right, finally, and then curly brackets, and inside this I'm only going to include a log statement. Here I'll say finally block executed. Okay, and this always gets executed. Okay, no matter what, like what happens here, if the error exists, it's fine, and even if there is no error in this is always going to get executed. So even if I comment this out, right, now there is no error, and if I save this, you see this is still getting executed. Okay, so this is the, so if there is something that you always want to execute no matter what, then you can use the finally block. Now let's see that how we can create custom errors and we can throw custom error messages. Okay, so here let me just take something, let me create a function first, and let's say check age, and I will give a parameter of age here, and here I'm going to write a condition. So if age is less than 18, I want to throw my own custom error. So the syntax for that is throw and then new error. And what is the error? You have to give it like this: you must be 18 or older, otherwise I will only log this statement. I'll say access granted. All right, so now if I call call this function, but before that I have to include that in the try catch block, right? Otherwise this error, I mean, we have to handle the error, right, to show the error. So try, so now I have to call this function, and I'm gonna do that in the try catch block. So try and then catch here error. All right, so in the try block I'm going to call this function, so check age, and I'll pass a value which is less than 18 actually. Okay, so 16, let's say 15, and then here we'll only log the error message. So log and then error dot message. Now this time, so in the previous examples we saw, right, that we were doing whatever we wanted, but the error message was still standard, right? It was not the custom error message that we were showing. But this time, because we have created our own new error, right, we are throwing our own new error, so it should show this method, sorry, this message. All right, so if I save this, you see it is showing this message, so you must be 18 or older. So similarly, if there are portions of your code wherein there are chances of the error, right, so you can create or you can throw new error and you can define your own custom messages. All right, and here if I give a value which is greater than 18, so the else part gets executed. All right, so I think that's all about error handling, and I'll see you in the next one.